Alright, hey guys, it's Colby. Happy Friday the 13th. And I've been up since 4:30 this morning, so I'm on my second cup of coffee and a little between a couple worlds right now. Sleep world and awake world. um, but I had a little moment to make a video, and um, I think I say this like every video, but I've still been having such a hard time um, getting videos together, and technology just has not been on my side to try and upload videos and just making sure it's recording. Um, I don't know, it's just such a pain in the butt, really. And so the weird angle right now is because my camera like shows my entire room, and on this side is full of completely of laundry. And so I'm in the little corner of my room right now that I don't mind other people looking at. Um, yeah, so Friday the 13th, October Friday the 13th, it's like just awesome, like energy, and I just love it. I'm not one of the superstitious Friday the 13th people that something negative is going to happen. I always think of it as positive things will happen. And which is like when I drew this morning, drew a tarot card this morning. The card that came up was the sun, and it was just so appropriate for today because ever since really yesterday I started feeling it that this kind of like energy shift and like super positive, happy, creative, just like all full of like yummy sun energy or whatever. So anyway, just super jazzed about today. And it's Friday, so, the best day of the week. Um, yeah, so I just wanted to do a little show and tell story thing. I created a video that, I don't know, I just wasn't like super happy with or whatever because it was in a couple pieces and I don't know how to edit, and so it was going to be a how-to uh, make a bone throwing kit. And because it's something that I've been super interested in doing for a long time, well, a long time, it's like a few years. And, a little story that goes along with that is that about 6 years ago, um, before I even really, I guess, not before I was pagan, but I was in the infancy of really um, exploring paganism and embracing it as my spiritual practice, and that I knew that at that point I knew that that was for me, but it was still in its infancy. And anyway, so my husband and I were doing a lot of foraging at that point, which foraging really, it was like the gateway drug to paganism because um, because we were out in nature so much and just like this connectedness um, with that, for me, goddess, Mother Earth energy and the elements, and just like really connecting with all of that. And that's when I started collecting like bones, and well, I'd already had a small bone collection because I had collected fossils, and then my dad had given me some bones over the years because he's a physician, so he gets bones from work, and and so uh, yeah, and finding bones out there. And so we were hiking in the woods one day and came across, um, like, I guess, like a kill zone area or feeding area. I'm not exactly sure what it's called or whatever, but it was like I don't know, 8-foot area that was just scattered with bones. I mean, they were like, it's like a good inch thick of bones, and they'd been there for a long time. It was obviously old. And so I found a bunch of these. These have all been cleaned, and there's a bunch of jawbones in there, some pelvis bones, some leg bones or forearm bones and stuff. And then the rest of the bones that were there were very small pieces. And initially, I had thought to make necklaces because I was doing a lot of like nature uh, based crafts. Like I was working like with clay and gathering my own clay when we were out, and then making pottery out of it, or uh, uh, little beads and stuff like that. And so initially I thought I would make a necklace out of all these little pieces. I'll pull them out. But it just never ended up happening, and it just, I guess, seemed like it was, well, not like more work than it's worth or whatever, because it would have been worth it, but um, I thought the pieces were probably a little too small to make into necklaces. I would need like a specialized jewelry making um, drill bit that was really tiny for these holes, and I don't know, it just didn't, it never came about to happen or whatever. I mean, these are how small the pieces are, they're tiny. And then it goes, this is another piece, and there's just like, gosh, over 100 of them. And then bigger, I believe these were skulls, like broken up pieces of skull. And anyway, those are all the sizes, but it's an entire pack of them. This is the little bag I made for my bone throwing kit, and just from some Halloween fabric I had laying around. And anyway, just so I could carry them around with me, uh, and charge them up and really get to know them. And so I have to confess, I don't know much about bone throwing, except that all that I've heard is, it's really intuitive, and you have to really connect with your bones, and then, really, really get to know them and work with them a lot to understand the messages that are coming through. And I'm not going to pretend that, like, I threw these and like, all this stuff was coming through. Like, I really need to work with them. But it's something that I am interested in. And I think the more I practice and get to know them and use them, the the easier the messages will come through, I guess. But anyway, so it was like 3 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, that I got the bones out of storage, because we bought our house and we put everything in storage because we renovated before we moved in. And so I had to go dig them out of storage, and watched a YouTube video on how people clean bones. And just so you know, if you find bones, hydrogen peroxide, just put the bones in a container that's large enough to fit all the bones, and then fill it up with hydrogen peroxide to where all the bones are covered, and let it sit for, the guy said, like 24 to 48 hours would be fine, and then rinse them off. And you'll see all the debris, and it'll fizz up from the bacteria dying. And anyway, I ended up leaving mine for like 2 weeks, because every time I would remember that I needed to, drain them and wash them and stuff. I was usually cooking dinners, and I didn't want like a bunch of bones around my family's food. So, and then I just forget and get busy. So, but it worked out, because the Aries full moon had come about a few days ago, and I guess like a week ago now or so. And so I thought, what a perfect time. It was like super creative, like, day for me. It was like the rarest thing happened to where I had like the whole day by myself, which hasn't happened in years. My husband was out fishing for like 15 hours with a friend, which was awesome. He caught like, what was it, like 34 fish, and he does all catch and release and everything. But So he had like a day of fun. Our youngest was with grandma, and then our eldest was with my dad, and they were having a blast. And so I got to like paint and make this bag and do my kit and everything and charge them and meditate with them and just like have this time for myself or whatever. It was just really awesome. It like rarely ever happens. And yeah, take a sip of coffee. And anyway, so it was like perfect timing to charge these under the moon, and um, and it worked. It's like I just love it when this happens because so I'm Pisces Aries cusp. Pisces full moon was just like I don't know. Time flies for me. So what, like last month or the month before, one of those. And once it's gone, I forget. So and I did a money making money candle making video and did the whole process. And I made like a bunch of them and uh, lit those, and like that immediately turned everything. I have a small business that I run, and it was doing horribly. And because I put it on hold when my baby was little, when I first had her and stuff, I didn't have the time or energy to put into it, and so it needed lot of uh, a lot of help, pretty much. And it's an eBay store, and I resell like cool stuff that I find or whatever. And anyway, so I did those candles, and like immediately, it's been like crazy the turnaround for the store, and it's been awesome. I did one for my mom. She has a hair salon, and she had just taken it over, and it was having a rough time or whatever, and she's seen a huge influx of people coming in and stuff, and um, I mean, I know there's other factors as well that have been helping that, but I do believe in the power of all this. So um, anyway, so that was awesome. Tangent, sorry. Um, and so it being Aries, it's like my cusping thing going on or whatever. So anyway, I was just all excited and energized is what I'm saying. And so I made my bone throwing kit. And so yeah, just gonna explore with this more, and I carry them around with me all the time. Um, and then these will just these are too big for me to carry for any sort of bone throwing, really. And in my personal opinion, I don't know, maybe some people do throw big bones. I don't know. And so those will go in my bone collection. And then, so it was 2 days ago. I was doing some shopping for the store, and um, I was looking at books. They had like a ton of books from this small town. It was actually a theology university library, and but you can find some, even though the the it's all like Christian based or whatever. All the books were, or like um, Abrahamic religion based, because they had things on Judaism and stuff like that too. But um, they did have this really cool. It was obviously an old library, um, but I did find this one book. The what is that little symbol on the front? Like immediately caught my attention, and I thought it was Poseidon riding his horses on the waves, but it's not. I don't know who that is. He's on a chariot, and then there's like this guy here is some sort of like, I think it's actually two people. It's some sort of mythological creature. I'm not sure. But the book is Classic Myths, revised edition by gaily. And what I thought was cool about this, it's classic myths in English literature and in art. And it is based originally on Bulfinch's Age of Fable, which was written in 1855. And this one, the first copyright, is 1893. But this version is from 1939. Still significantly old. And anyway, what called my attention to it too, I mean, I love old books, but I think these are, um, what is it called? Oh my gosh, I can't remember. 10, 10 type presses or something like that. They're like etched pieces of tin, and then they press them. But I mean, it may just be made to look like that. But it has some different poems in here. Um, and then it goes into classic mythology or whatever. And obviously, I mean, this is a very narrow like view of mythology, so it's only like what people in 1939 were looking at in English literature, mythology, and art. And but there's Greek and Egyptian. And it's been a long time since I've really read mythology. I mean, it's been years, and I mean, I read bits here and there, but to like really delve into the stories and stuff like that. Um, yeah, I'm just really looking forward to it, and I love old books, and so anyway, that was a cool find. And then I found this one, which is Way of the Whitetail, Magic and Mystery. And so this guy, Dennis L. Olson, um, let's see, he, what was he? Let's see. Okay, it doesn't say what he was, what he did, but he spent years in the field photographing and chronicling whitetail deer life, I guess. And but I initially got it because I do collage art, and so I get old art books and magazines, photograph books, whatever, postcards, and I always look them up because I would hate to like cut up a rare book or whatever. So, or honestly, something that I could make some money off of, because I would like in a second sell this if it were worth anything. But anyway, uh, I started looking at this book. I was like so enchanted by it that I don't think I'm actually going to cut it up after all. Because it has like little fables in it and his little antidotes and stuff like that, and really beautiful pictures just all together. There's actually one that like made me laugh out loud in the store. This guy right here. I love his face. He's all fluffy. And I showed my eldest daughter this, and she like died laughing. We don't have snow here, and I mean we get like, gosh, maybe like a quarter of an inch every 7 years or something. And so seeing fluffy white-tailed deer like this is really cute. Something we don't see. And but anyway, it was a really cool book, and he talks about some mythology and um, just habits of the deer and what they do and stuff. And yeah, so I found that book. Oh, and there's another book that I really liked. It's just right here. So I got this book a while back for the same intention of using it for art, um, but I fell in love with it, and so now I can't cut it up. And but it is In Celebration of Women, a selection of words and paintings by Helen Exley. Isn't that beautiful? And so it has different quotes from different women in history, um, writers, poets, politicians, rulers, um, philosophers, so on and so forth. But it definitely has a feminist, um, a feminist, uh, like proclamation. It's like it's very. Um, I mean, obviously, it's celebrating women, so it's very like female power. I mean, that seems like super obvious, but there are also some things in here that are very of the age that they were being written. So, like before, like the suffragist movement and stuff, there's things that if you're not a hetero white female, seem a little of that time. Make you kind of go, oh, okay, that's a little like narrow-minded point of view or whatever, and there's some of that in here too. But that pretty much it's um, the woman's purpose to take. Sorry, there's a gnat. No, it's in my coffee. Um, woman's purpose to take care of her husband and children and household, and like that is her purpose. I guess that's what I mean, and so there is some of that, but there's a lot of other good quotations and powerful things or whatever. And this is one that I really liked. I just wanted to share. It says, being nice should never be perceived as being weak. It is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of courtesy, manners, a grace, a woman's ability to make everyone feel at home, and it should never be construed as weakness. Men are comfortable with being intimidating. A woman is not comfortable with the thought that she is intimidating, and therefore, perhaps she tries to be a little informal, but that doesn't mean that women can't be tough when the times arise. And that's from Benazir Bhutto, and she was the Prime Minister of Pakistan. I just really like that. I had a conversation with a friend a couple weeks ago about that, and about feeling uncomfortable as a woman to be mean, to be blunt and abrupt and rude, even when sometimes it's called for. Like, of course, we all have the ability to do that, but how, I was telling my friend that I find it a lot easier to try and diffuse situations or turn things with a joke or sense of humor or something, and even if it's something that really should be, um, uh, I guess, more aggressively put forth as, setting boundaries and saying like, no, I'm not cool with what you said, or you talking to me or acting this way towards me and so forth. And anyway, so stuff like that. And I don't know if, other women relate to that, but I certainly did. And anyway, so yeah, I just want to do that little show and tell. I hope y'all have an amazing Friday the 13th, and I'd love to hear if any of you guys do bone throwing, what your experience with it is, how you connected to yours, what you add or choose not to put into your bone throwing kit. I know some people don't even really use bones, that they just use like little knickknacks and stuff. And so I'd love to hear your experiences with it. And I guess that's it for me. All right, y'all have a great day.